All right, finally tonight, some perspective and the mystery of Joe Biden's poll numbers. 10 days ago, the Associated Press had Biden with a 63% approval rating. 63. Trafalgar this week had him at 48%. Average it out, Biden is probably somewhere in the mid-50s by most of these polling standards, if you trust him. All things considered, even 48 would be far better than this president deserves. And that's the point that I want to make tonight. By almost any measure, the first few months of this presidency has been a disaster. His biggest accomplishment really isn't even his own, a COVID vaccine and the pandemic fading away just as he entered office. What incredible timing. You'd kill for that kind of timing. Other than that, though, it's been 4 months of mistakes. Big mistakes. What the White House unleashed at the southern border is one of the most moronic, self-inflicted wounds this country has seen in years. The administration literally took a situation very much under control and caused a full-blown, wide-scale disaster just to virtue signal to the open border left flank of the Democrat Party. It is so nonsensical, it's painful. Nobody can figure it out. It's idiocy. Biden's economic policies have been just as bad, printing off trillions of dollars, sending out money, having a clearly negative impact. The cost of everything is going up, and it's going up fast. Your paycheck will likely feel like a lot less very soon. We also have a nice disaster in the Middle East now. Thankfully, a ceasefire tonight. Let's hope it holds. They tend to not. Regardless, groups like Hamas, countries like Iran and Russia, now emboldened by this beta male administration, everybody knows will never respond to aggression. People know it, and that's why they love Biden in the White House. This is why so much of the world hated Trump in the White House. So why the solid poll numbers? Well, because Biden says and does exactly what a president is supposed to. When Trump came into office, he saw the disaster that is Washington. He made bold moves to fix a system that only works for itself. A system that spends $1.9 billion with a B to secure the Capitol after January 6th, but yawned last summer as rioters tore up American cities and your businesses. They only care about themselves. And that's what Trump knew. Trump's crusade to fix Washington was precisely what led to his demise. Washington does not want to be fixed, and the powerful union of D.C. lobbyists, politicians, and the media managed to change the public's view of a naive Trump administration into a full-scale disaster. When you look back on just the policy, the Trump administration was an incredible success by the standards of Republicans, of course, but also of moderates and even moderate Democrats. No wars, a secure border, a strong economy, incredible wage growth. How the hell do you lose when you do those things? Well, the phony outrage being blasted out by Democrats and the media every single day made Americans forget all of that and just focus on tweets. Trump and Biden's poll numbers are proof of just how ugly Washington, D.C. really is. Time now for a special edition of News from the Left. The Cuomo brothers are making headlines again. The Washington Post reporting CNN's Chris Cuomo took part in a series of strategy calls, advising his brother, embattled New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, on how to respond to sexual harassment allegations, according to that report. The cable news anchor encouraged his brother to take a defiant position but not resign from the governor's office. At one point, he used the phrase cancel culture as a reason to hold firm in the face of the allegations. And here to discuss this and more is Alex Marlow, editor-in-chief of Breitbart News and author of the new book, Breaking the News, Exposing the Establishment Media's Hidden Deals and Secret Corruption. Alex, welcome. Good to see you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. So Cuomo apologized during his show tonight, saying he's in a unique position as a journalist and brother of a politician, that he put his colleagues at CNN in a bad spot, promise it'll never happen again. What's your take on all this?
Yeah, it's silly we were even expecting anything less. Of course, Chris Cuomo was involved with Andrew Cuomo's response. Yeah. And the fact that anyone thought that maybe he'd get disciplined by CNN is just living in a dream world now. I break down the Cuomo's relationship in the book as it happens. And I recall how Chris used to do prop comedy on his primetime show with his brother Andrew during the middle of the pandemic. Meanwhile, Andrew was sending all these elderly folks essentially to die in the nursing home, getting crammed in with sick coronavirus patients, and CNN was laughing about it. Remember, they had the giant Q-tips, the oversized Q-tips to make fun of the coronavirus test? Yeah, that was hilarious in retrospect. Yeah. Chris is still on the air, and he'll be on the air as long as Jeff Zucker likes what he's doing.
Yeah, it's very true. You make a good point. Next up, over at Fox, Geraldo Rivera got in yet another on-air clash with Dan Bongino. It's happened more than once. This last night, when talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, take a look.
Stop attacking me,
on the
punk.
police thing.
Address the issue. Do you have the guts to address the issue and not address? This is not about me. You didn't come on this show to attack me. I'm sick of you, Bongino. I'm sick of you.
That
You're a
are
punk.
absolutely
You're a punk.
out. You're
Let
an
him talk.
uncontrolled lunatic.
Geraldo,
I'm sorry.
let him talk.
Because you can't go on the air.
I'm an
Really?
out-of-control
Can you calm
lunatic.
down? Yeah, you really
I'm a
need to calm
10-time
down.
Emmy winner
Maybe
with
try
deep
a
experience
meditation
in the
app or
Middle East.
something.
Have you ever even been there?
So, you know, he gets the paper out, he's throwing it at the camera, he's getting all mad. He later had to walk back a little bit of it, maybe try to at least, he didn't walk anything back, he turned his back. And he got very upset about this whole thing. He's really drank the Hamas Kool-Aid on this. How far off is Geraldo? What happened to him?
You know, he's just doing pro wrestling. This is a WWE routine with Geraldo, as it is so often. But this is a really tough one for people in the media who are Israel haters, because Israel did an amazing job. They were able to beat back Hamas. There were no mass casualty events, which is always bad PR for them. They blew up the AP's break room in that building, which really, why was the AP in the building with Hamas anyway?
Right.
And by the way, Donald Trump's Abraham Accords held. None of the Abraham Accord nations got involved. It was a big win for Israel, and that's always very challenging for the media.
It certainly is. It's something to hear that. I mean, the way he thinks about it, the way the left thinks about this story, I just can't, you know, sometimes you can kind of see, all right, you're really stretching. This one, they're just off in outer space. I don't get it at all. Finally, Google announcing a new feature on Google Docs that'll soon be prompting users to write in more gender-neutral terms. Apparently, the assistive writing feature will give users who are writing in a shared Google Docs file suggestions to make their writing more inclusive. So I want you to kind of help me with the grammar here. How are we now supposed to say or write, he is talking to her? What would that look like?
I have no idea. If everyone wants to call me His Majesty, I'll take that, or His Highness. Those are good ones for me.
It can't be his, though. They's Majesty.
I don't. No, but I get to choose. But if His Majesty is fine. No, this is all anti-science, and it's designed to create confusion. This is purely out of Orwell, where you control the language in order to manipulate the public. And this is what's being done at a massive level. We have to put a stop to this. We have to stand up to this and say, you do not get to choose. If you are one person, you don't get plural pronouns. Until we start doing that, we're going to continue to have an insane society.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Alex Marlow, is the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News. It's always good to see you.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.